Hello friends, in this video tutorial we are going to talk about selectors in CSS. Okay, so in our previous video tutorial I tried to explain this a little bit. Okay, so when we are talking about selectors can be found in internal CSS and external CSS. Inline has nothing to do with selector, which I have explained. Okay, we have two types of selector in CSS. We have the class selector. And we have the ID selector. Okay, class selector normally goes with dot and the selector name. It goes with dot and the selector name, whereby ID selector goes with hash and the selector name. Okay, so what we normally do is that once we write dot and write a selector name, write our curly bracket like this before making our declaration. Automatically this is because of this dot, this selector now becomes a class selector. When we do something like this, hash the selector name, and we now write something like this, because of this hash, this becomes an ID selector. Okay, back to this internal CSS. You see that I use dot, so this try is a class selector. So anytime I want to call this try, I have to write class as an attribute and put this try inside it. Okay, then for the ID selector, I have to use hash. Okay, let me call this full like this. Then my curly bracket, open and close curly bracket before I start making my declaration. Okay, let me say background color is red. Okay, since background color is red, I want the color to be white. Okay, so you see that now I have made two declaration in this selector, and the name of this selector is FOO, and this is a ID selector here. So for this one, it's a class selector, and the name of the selector is try, and I make three declaration. So if I want to implement this CSS, I have to call this selector using ID because I use hash here. So let me implement it in this place, right? Okay, let me say ID is equals to, now the name of the selector, which is FOO. Yes, the name of selector is FOO and it's right. Okay, let me write this code. Let me test this code. Okay, it's not implementing. Let me check my CSS and know if everything is okay. Okay, background color is red, color is white. Okay, this is inside list. Okay, let me implement this. Let me just write a normal tag that we know. Let me say div. Okay, div tag. Let me say just serious. I just want to test something. Okay, and now put the ID. Okay, let me say the ID is full, right? The selector is full. I just want to implement it here. Okay, you see the serious. This declaration is being implemented. I just change the background color and the color. I said the background color should be red and the color should be white. Okay, let me increase the font. I can say let the font size be 34 ps. Don't worry about all these declarations I'm making. Just understand that I'm making declarations. I will soon explain how to make each declarations and how you can recognize them. Okay, now I have increased the font. I say let the font be 34 ps. Okay, you see it's now big. Okay, I just want to wrap. I want to pad it. Let me say padding. Let the padding be 12 ps. Okay, the function of padding, which I will explain, or I will leave it. When we start explaining all these declarations, I'll start explaining them one by one. So if I refresh, you see the padding is showing. Okay, so this is just to test this ID declaration and the class declaration. These are the two types of declarations we have Okay, someone may ask, why didn't this work here? Because this is a list. When we want to style list, there is a method we follow in styling our list. Okay, now this is the two declaration we make. We can equally make, sorry, I have remembered now, guys. We have three types of declaration. We have the tag selector. Okay, we have the tag selector. I just remember it now, and that's all the selector we have. Believe me, we have the tag selector. In this tag selector, we don't put dots, we don't put hash. We just write the tag name, okay, and start making our declaration. For example, now, if I want all the hedge one here, okay, let me just use something else. Let me just use something else. Okay, let me just create some paragraph. Let me create some paragraph. Let me create here paragraph 1. Let me say this is the first paragraph, right? Okay, I create another paragraph here. I say this is the second paragraph. Then I create another paragraph here. It says this is the third paragraph. I just want to use it to implement it. Then when we want to do selector by tag name, what we want to do now is to write something like, you now write P and write our curly bracket and start making declaration. What I'm trying to do now is I'm saying any tag that has any P tag, any paragraph tag, make use of whatever declaration I'm going to do here. So since I'm using P, it will affect this, it will affect this, and it will equally affect this, because all of them are using the paragraph tag or the P tag. Okay, this is we call this selector by the tag name. Here we are selecting a tag name P and making declaration. But here we create an ID. The name of the ID is FOO. After making the declaration, we now put it here. You see, as you can see here. Okay, for the class, we now use dots to define this is a class. Then the name of this is Y, and we now implement it here just with this. So for this tag now, any P tag must make use of this. Okay, for this P tag, I say all the paragraph tag, let your font size be 45 ps. Okay, you must have a background color. Your background color should be green. Okay, your color itself, that is the font color, should be white. Then I have to pad you. Okay, I have to pad you with 20 ps. Okay, and I want you to be at the center, which is this align. Okay, let me say this align, be at the center, right? Okay, all the paragraph tag will be using font 45, background color green, color white, padding 20, and it will be at the center. Okay, let's check out. You see the paragraph, making use of that. Third paragraph, making use of it. First paragraph, equally making use of it. Okay, this is another selector. The third selector we have, selector by tag name. Okay, I have taken our time to define selector. Okay, so in our next video tutorial, I am going to tell you the technicalities in internal, external, and inline CSS. Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye.